Hello, welcome to Verbling. I am teacher Oakley, and today's class, actually, today's Monday, and I am beginning a series of classes in which we will talk about, this week, Ielts writing. I'm planning on having a series of classes at this time regularly to discuss various aspects of Ielts. This week we'll cover writing, and then we'll look at reading, speaking, and listening in subsequent weeks. So today I will be giving an overview, a little bit of a general overview of Ielts, as well as more specifically an overview of the Ielts writing test, what to expect, how the test goes, and maybe some basic approaches and things that you have to know and things that you should be studying as you prepare for Ielts in general and specifically the Ielts writing test. Okay, so what is Ielts? Ielts is the International English Language Test, which is a test which is made by Oxford, Cambridge in England to assess English-speaking ability, and this is used widely throughout the world to determine your English-speaking level. And you take this test in order, for example, if you want to get a job in Australia, they may require you to pass, to take and pass a certain level of the Ielts test to even get a work visa, for example. Or to go to a university in any English-speaking country, you may be required to take an Ielts or perhaps a TOEFL test in order to get into the university. Now, it used to be that primarily British or British English countries accepted Ielts, and more American America, Canada, were looking for the TOEFL test, but nowadays they've become fairly interchangeable. Usually you can take either TOEFL or Ielts. However, if you're planning on getting a job in another country, an English-speaking country, or going to university in an English-speaking country, then you should find out what your particular job or university requires. And also, of course, you need to figure out what score they required, because you need to know what your goal is. Okay, Ielts and TOEFL similarly have 4 categories, the 4 basic skills you're going to be tested in: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So you will be given a score in each of those categories. Same thing in TOEFL, by the way. And these scores will be averaged together, and you will receive your overall Ielts or TOEFL score, and that way they work the same way. Okay. I'm going to say hi to some of you guys and ask you a little bit about if you're planning on taking a TOEIC or TOEFL test. Hello, Raphael.
Hello, teacher. I'm doing well. Listening to your class.
Good. Glad to hear it. Raphael, I have a question. I need your help.
Yeah.
Today, it's another day in the Philippines summer, so it is very, very hot.
Yeah.
And I'm running the air conditioner in my room as I'm teaching class. Can you hear the air conditioner? Is it loud? Is it disturbing?
No,
Are you
no.
sure?
Yeah, yeah. Perhaps
Okay.
a little noise, but no, no. I think it's from another, from the chat room. It's from another guy.
Oh, okay. All right.
No
Well,
noise. You look better in the beach, on the beach.
on the beach, I look better. Yeah, I'm back in my hometown in the city, and it's hot. So I have, I've been. My wife keeps yelling at me. I've been trying to not use the air conditioning because I don't want to create extra noise when I'm teaching verbling. But I don't know. I can't take it anymore.
We can't listen. There is no noise from you.
Great. Thanks.
You can enjoy your cold atmosphere.
Thank you. Oh, great. Thanks. So, Raphael, do you have any future plans to take an Ielts test or TOEFL test or anything like that?
I am very old to take exams. I only want to enjoy with you and learn English and no more. But it's a good idea. Perhaps in 10 years more, if I...
In 10 years? Okay. Alrighty. Okay. In any case, I'm doing a couple of basically courses every day. I'll be doing IELTS writing for this week, and then another topic, maybe speaking or reading next week. In any case, today, Monday class is just an overview talking about the test. But then we'll be talking about actual writing skills and vocabulary, structure, methodology, all those kinds of things through the rest of the week. So you're welcome to join the class. The rest of the week will be much more instructive for you, I think. But okay, and anybody else who wants to join the class, I would say the same thing. Even if you don't have plans, if you do have plans, then I really recommend that you join me and take the class. Hello, Juan. Juan, are you there?
Hello, teacher.
Hi, how are you?
Nice to see you.
Well, thank you. Nice to see your black screen. Just kidding. So, Juan, do you have any plans to take an IELTS test or other English-speaking assessment test?
No, I don't have.
Okay. All right. Well, then, same thing that I told Raphael. Okay, you might find today's class a little not that exciting because we're going over the structure of a test. Mahmood.
Hi.
Hi. Hi again. I forgot what you told me. I think you've told me before, but are you planning on taking an IELTS test or TOEFL?
Yes. I'm taking IELTS.
IELTS. Okay. Well, then you're in the right place. Terrific. Mahmood, have you taken the IELTS test before?
No, this will be the first time.
First time. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. That helps a lot. All right. And Nemo.
Yeah. How
Hi.
are you, Oakley?
Good. How have you been?
Yeah, I'm fine. How about you?
Pretty good. Okay.
Yeah.
Nemo, do you have any plans to take an IELTS test?
No, for now I don't have any plans, but maybe in the future, if I have a job that requires me to have a test, I think I will.
Okay.
But you have your hair grew over a little.
It's growing, yeah. I'm not dead yet, so my hairs and my fingernails are still growing. Yeah, my whiskers too. Yeah. Actually, I need a shave. Yeah, yeah. It's starting to grow back. You know, it's still really hot. I may have to cut it again. I might go for the complete cue ball look next time. Okay. I had mentioned that many people take IELTS tests because they want to get into a university, or perhaps to get work in another country, an English-speaking country. Some people also take the IELTS test just as an additional plus that they can add to their resume. It looks good on a resume if you have an IELTS score. Most HR departments would understand what that is if you have an IELTS score or TOEFL score. So it can also help if you're ever in the job market. Okay, what are you looking at when you go to take an IELTS test? Unlike TOEFL IBT, in which you can sit at your computer, as long as you send the money, you log in and you can take the TOEFL test anywhere. It's an online test. The IELTS test, you have to go to a testing center, and you have to schedule an appointment. Most places, they're on the weekends. And it always follows the same order. It always starts in the morning, and you take a listening test. Then after listening is reading, then writing, and then speaking is the final test. Sometimes speaking is on the next day. Sometimes it's the same day. It depends on the specific testing center that you go to. It always starts early in the morning, and the very simplest first IELTS advice I will give you: the night before the test, don't stay up all night studying. Mahmood, don't. Get a good night's sleep, and also eat a big breakfast, because they don't give you any time between these tests. Listening test is 40 minutes, and then reading and writing are each 60 minutes. Actually, the speaking test is quite quick. It's only 13 minutes, about 12 to 15 minutes. And they don't really give you time. They give you a very short break in between each test, enough time to go to the bathroom, for example, and that's about it. So you do not have time to eat. So eat a big breakfast. Okay, today specifically we're going to be looking at an overview of the writing test. Yeah, before I start that, IELTS actually has two tests. They have what is called the GT, or General Training Test, and they have the Academic Test. Usually, if you're taking the test to get a job, you take the GT, and if you're taking the test to go to university, you take the Academic. These two tests are a lot the same. Basically, very few differences. One of the few differences is in writing. Mahmood, which test are you interested in taking?
I'll be taking the academic version.
You'll be taking academic. Okay. All right. The difference is, actually, the writing test, here's what it is. There are two tasks that you have to accomplish. You have 60 minutes to accomplish those tasks. You have to write 2 pieces of writing. Okay, number 1, in the GT test, for any viewers out there, general training, you're going to be asked to write a letter to a business or to a company requesting information, lodging a complaint, asking for product information, something like that. It will tell you the points that you need to include. Obviously, you absolutely need to include those points. the fastest way to lose points in an IELTS test is not to cover the question. Any points that they bring up in a question need to be covered. Absolutely. In the academic test, Mahmoud, what you will be presented with, actually, when you go to the writing test, they're going to give you a booklet with the questions, and then they give you basically like note paper to do your actual writing. So on the actual booklet, you can write in the actual booklet. You can write, for example, you can make your outline or write down keywords that you want to use. They're just going to throw that away. The only thing that matters is your actual writing, and it's just going to be, it's going to be like a notebook, with lines, and you just write, basically. That's it. Okay, for Task 1 Academic, you will be presented in the booklet with a graph, a chart, perhaps a process flow chart, a pie chart. It could include many variables. It could look like many different things. But the idea is that you are going to summarize that chart or graph. Very important, very key things. Mahmoud, do not, in Task 1, do not include your opinion in any way, shape, or form. This is actually the most difficult part for me. In Task 1, you cannot express your opinion. It's absolutely forbidden. Task 1 is you need to write 150 words. 150, yes, they count the words. Okay? They suggest, in all the books I've read, that you spend 20 minutes on Task 1 and 40 minutes on Task 2. Task 2 for both academic and GT is an opinion piece. You'll be asked to write an opinion piece, and it's 250 words. And yes, again, they count the words, and they deduct points for any less words that you have, less than 250 that are required. Okay, so you might want to count your words, but don't actually waste time counting your words. The easiest thing to do is actually take an average sentence and count how many words across you have. Okay, I have 10 words in each line. Then count the lines, and you can usually figure out about how many words you have. Obviously, try to write more than you need to. Okay, that's basically what the test is like. The scoring is like this for both GT and academic. The scoring, Task 1 is worth 1/3 of your overall score. Task 2, the opinion piece, is worth 2/3. Okay, so what they do is they take your Task 1 score and then add twice the Task 2 score and then divide by 3. Obviously, Task 2 is more important, more weight, more than Task 1. As I said, everything I've ever read, preparation materials, tells you to spend 20 minutes on Task 1 and 40 minutes on Task 2. However, I would argue with that. For example, for myself, it is much easier to write an opinion piece than it is to summarize data. I have much more experience with opinion than I have with than summarizing data. It takes me a long time. I have to do it very carefully because I have to make sure I don't include an opinion. For myself, I've actually taken the IELTS test. I did the opposite. I took 40 minutes to do task 1 and 20 minutes to do task 2. You have to practice doing both and see what your timing is like to help yourself understand where you need to spend more time. Maybe you want to spend 30 minutes, 30 minutes. You just need to practice and know your own, what you're good at and your own limitations. It's entirely up to you. It's not a rule. Also, you're going to want to make sure that you have some time at the end of the test so that you can edit. So you can quickly at least go through and see if you have any silly misspellings or punctuation or anything like that. Because it's a timed test, they are not looking for a perfect a perfect final draft. That's not what they're looking for. So as you're writing the test, which you will be writing in pencil and paper, okay, make sure obviously it's legible. Make sure that somebody can actually read it and that you're not just leaving chicken scratch. Okay. Also, if you write a phrase or sentence and you don't want to include it, or it's out of place, you want to put it somewhere else, you don't have to turn your pencil around and erase, erase, erase. You don't have to. You can just draw a line through it. Save yourself time. Or you write an incorrect word, just draw a line through it. They're not looking for it. If it's a little sloppy, you can even do things like this. You can even, you write a sentence, oh, I want this sentence down here to be up here. You can even make an arrow. You can draw an arrow where you want the sentence to be. It's not supposed to be like a slick magazine article. They don't expect that. They know this is a first draft writing. Keeping that in mind, small things like little misspellings, maybe a couple missed punctuation, you can still get a perfect score. I believe when I took the test, I had 4 or 5 mistakes. Okay, I think I had 2 or 3 misspellings, and I missed a punctuation, and as well, I believe I used a conjunction, which you should never do. Do you know what a conjunction is, Mahmood?
Word that joins sentences different.
Sorry?
Word that joins sentences.
Yeah, words that are joined. What are some examples? Nemo, what are some examples of conjunctions? Not conjunctions. I'm sorry. I'm using the wrong word. Not you. Of course, you can use conjunctions. I'm sorry. I don't. Yeah. I don't mean conjunctions. Can we erase the tape? Start over. Sorry. I mean contractions. Wrong word. Wrong word. Contractions. Do not use contractions. Do you know what contractions are, Mahmood?
Short for writing in instead of writing I am, you just write I, then insert an apostrophe and then M.
That's right. When we join an auxiliary and a pronoun with by using an apostrophe, like saying I'm instead of I am. In the speaking test in Ielts, you should definitely use contractions. In the writing test, you should definitely not. Okay? Because it's formal. Okay. All right. So I'm going to maybe do a screen share and share with you some of the basic principles of writing that you need to know. Actually, since we're going to be talking about writing all week, let me ask you guys a question. Raphael, you there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Raphael, what do you find most difficult about writing in English? Or do you ever have to write in English, first of all?
Yeah, I try every day to write in English. And the most difficult thing I find is the spelling. make a correct spelling or write correctly every word. I think it's. Well, but there are a lot of things very difficult for me. Grammar.
Yeah, okay.
I'm doing my best in trying to do.
Okay. Well, luckily, as far as IELTS is concerned, spelling seems to be way down on their list of priorities. Actually, what IELTS is most concerned with is your organization. If you have good paragraph structure, your paragraphs stick together, sentences follow sentences, that's half your score, really. Okay, Juan.
Yes.
Juan, do you ever write in English?
Yes, and sometimes when I must do an extra for article, for example, perhaps 8 or 9 lines. I have a lot of difficult to construct because my level in grammar is no good, and my vocabulary is no good. A lot of things is joining up my and when I give the test for a person who can to write better than me, for there are a lot of wrongs.
Okay. Okay. There are a lot of errors.
Errors.
Yeah,
Okay.
Speaking of vocabulary. Okay. Okay, Mahmood, do you ever write in English?
Yes, I do write in English. And,
okay. What are your challenges?
Challenges I have identified in my composition are, first of all, I have problems with organization and paragraphing. Actually, if I have to write just one para, it doesn't matter, or it isn't difficult for me. But composing multiple paras and then maintaining coherence and of the overall passage, it is a bit difficult for me. Secondly, I have an strange affinity for using abstruse words, very hard, very, I may say, big words. I do not do them intensely, but they just come up in my writing, and they make what I write a bit difficult. So these two are most challenging for me right now.
Okay. Okay, well, this week, as I said, one of the most important things is organization, and we're going to work on that a lot this week, actually. Because it is ridiculously important, because the scoring for writing, which we're going to talk about more tomorrow, basically there are 3 things they're scoring. Task fulfillment, meaning are you doing the task required? Are you following the instructions, giving clear and accurate information, and do you cover all the key points of the task? Also, coherence and cohesion, which is simply organizing into paragraphs. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. And the third thing is vocabulary and grammar. So you can kind of see, you guys are talking about vocabulary and grammar. Actually, that's not really the most important. That's only 1/3 importance in as far as IELTS and scoring. Nemo, do you ever write in English?
Not much. Just chatting.
Just what?
when I am chatting with my friends.
Chatting? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you don't do that much sort of formal writing, business writing or academic.
No. Right now, I don't.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to do a little screen share with you guys. Some of the, just overall, again, today's an overview. Some of the basic things that you should be doing when you're writing, whether it's GT or academic, it doesn't really matter. Some of the basics. Okay, hang on a second. Let me, okay, some of the basically essential writing skills. All right, writing process. Now, it's good to have a plan before you go in to the test and start doing this, whether it's Ielts or TOEFL or any other test. You need to have a plan. Here's their suggested plan, and I just want to go through this with you carefully. All right, maybe just hitting on the major points here. Boom. Read the task carefully. It's Ielts. Boy, they are not kidding. Ielts will sometimes use little tricks of sentence structure or language to try to trick you. Be very wary of this, especially in the reading section of the test, but also in writing instructions. I would always recommend anyone taking these tests should read the question or read the task at least twice. At least. Make sure you know what you're doing. Really, because that's 1/3. If you remember, task adherence or task completion is 1/3 of your score. If you go off topic or you're not answering the task, you just dropped 1/3 of your score. So Ielts is scored on bands 1 to 9. So think about it. You go off topic, you automatically drop to band 6, even if you are absolutely perfect in every way. Okay. Next process, brainstorm and note down your ideas. Again, as I said, you have a little booklet or question paper. Not the answer paper, but on the question paper, you can write down anything you want. You can write on the front of the paper, on the back of the paper, wherever you want. Okay, as you're brainstorming your idea, for example, let's try a little exercise in brainstorming. All right, let's say we're taking the writing exam and we're on task 1. And we see a chart that explains agricultural production for different areas. All right, that's all. The first thing that I'm going to do after I read the question twice is I'm going to try to brainstorm any ideas, any words at all that come to mind that have to do with the keywords in the question. All right, which is another reason I'm reading that question twice. I want to pick out the keywords of the question, and before I even start organizing or formatting my writing, I'm going to just think of vocabulary words. I don't clutter my mind yet with the organization. I'm going to do that later. I'm going to go step by step here. So say I get a graph that has to do with agriculture. All right? Let's, how many words can we think of that have anything to do with agriculture? Okay? Raphael, give me a word. Just free flow brainstorm. Do you know the word agriculture? Hello? Hello, guys? Oh, Raphael? Okay, Juan, are you there?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I am.
I don't know what happened. All right. For some reason, my Verbling chat is not working, but okay. So, do you know the word agriculture?
Well, perhaps.
There it is. Okay. Finally. Perhaps. Okay. What do you think the word means?
Cereal or
Not quite. Agriculture, basically, all right, I'll give you your first brainstorm word, is a big word that just means farming, growing things to eat. Okay, so what's a word? All right, Nemo, farm, good. Juan, what's a word that related? Any word. Faster. We're brainstorming. You only have seconds. You're running out of time. It's a timed test, so we need to think of things as fast as we can. There you go. Good. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Mahmood, that's the idea. All right. Nemo, you guys got the idea. Farm, seeds, pesticides, crops, research, fertilizer. Start writing down words as fast as you can. Just free flow. Because when you start to organize, you'll start to forget these words. Trust me, you will. Another way to do this brainstorm is, okay, we're talking about agriculture. What is the process of agriculture? How does farming work? If you're trying to consider brainstorming vocabulary, Raphael, farming, how does it work?
Yeah, but I can't remember right now many words about this issue. It's too difficult for me. Nemo is doing very well.
Yeah, Mahmood is doing well. Actually, Mahmood is the one person who's serious about this test, and so I'm glad to see he's doing well. That's exactly what I mean. Quickly think of many ideas, which he's doing. But another way to do that, and it also helps to stay organized, is sometimes when we're trying to think of a word or words related, think about the process. You know, so agriculture, you might think, okay, seeds, plant. Not only nouns. Think of verbs. Actually, in speaking or writing, using more verbs and less nouns, it makes your writing more exciting, I guess. So also try to think about words. Wow, Mahmood is actually kicking butt here. Okay, very good. Wow.
There is one inundation about words about agriculture.
Yeah.
We are inundated.
We are invaded, and that's great. That's what I wanted. That's what I was trying to get you all to do, but Mahmood took over, which is fine. Good for you. Anyway, another suggestion you might talk about is, what is the process? So you have all agriculture. You start thinking about planting seeds. Plow the field first. Actually, you need to fertilize. You need to use pesticides or maybe weeds or invasive plants, or thinking about anything that has anything to do with it. Genetically modified foods, anything, everything, different kinds of foods, crop rotation. All right. And if you think about process, then you can, planting, then adding fertilizers and pesticides, irrigation, watering. Okay. Now harvest, yield. All right. So sometimes that helps you to brainstorm ideas. Okay. Let's try another one. What if you're looking at a chart that is a chart of the gross domestic product, or GDP, of several countries. Whoa. GDP, what kind of words can we think of? Raphael, can you give me one?
Money.
Money.
Production. Money, production. Air balance, withdraw money, foreign exchange. Nothing.
Look at Mahmoud go again. Oh my God. Low, high, average, percentage, product, services, finished goods. Okay. Look at him go. Can you add anything, Juan? Before Mahmoud prints the dictionary over here? Juan?
Yes, my mind is going blank now.
Blank. Okay.
Today is Monday. And
Money. Okay. Can you think of any, Nemo? Gross domestic product. What could be related?
What's the meaning of gross domestic?
Gross domestic product means the net worth of a country. How much money is a country worth? Everything, all products and services sold is the gross domestic product of the country. Okay. So, you know, think about bigger words too that you might actually use in your writing, like economy, exports, imports. Yeah, words like mine cave.
Tourism.
Okay. Tourism. Oh, okay. All right. Different parts of an economy. Right. Sometimes we can break it down. All right. What are we talking about? GDP. We're basically talking about a measurement of economy. So, what are parts of the economy? Right. Okay, Nemo. Actually, you're hitting on the idea. When we're brainstorming, then we can start thinking about breaking down the big idea, economy. Oh, okay, different industry. Very good. Industry, services, products, and tourism. All right, great. That's the idea. How to break things down and brainstorm vocabulary, which is the first thing you're going to do. Now, depending on if you're doing general training or academic, you're kind of going to need different vocabulary. For example, general training, you're writing a letter, so you're going to need letter writing vocabulary, things that you write in letters, like, which we'll talk about a lot tomorrow, dear sir, dear madam. And words like requesting or using modals. Could I please ask for some information? Might I receive? We use modals when we're trying to be polite in business letters, for example. If you're doing, for example, if you're doing task 1 in academic, you're going to use a lot of comparison vocabulary. What am I talking about? Comparison vocabulary. Words like, well, lower, higher, falling, rising, rising prices, falling prices, remain stable. Phrases and words that we use to describe how things compare to each other, because that's what we use charts and graphs for. Okay, but we'll get more into that as the week goes on. We're definitely going to look at a lot of vocabulary specific to these tasks in IELTS writing. Okay. Now, going back to organizing, brainstorming. All right. Plan your essay. Now, great. Now, it's up to you. Frankly, it's up to you if you want to actually write an outline. Mahmoud, do you write an outline when you're writing?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Because it gets messy if I don't try to outline my essay or a paragraph.
Okay, so you're more comfortable making an outline when you write.
Yes.
Okay, well then I highly suggest you do a quick, and by and I do mean quick, because everything's timed. Then I would recommend that you do a quick outline of what you're going to do. It's different for different people, so people outside viewing, look, it may not be the same for everyone. For example, for myself, I struggle more doing task 1. I need to write an outline for task 1. Opinion piece, I can just do it. I can just write it. Just keep it in my mind, and I know the paragraph structure. Once I figure out paragraph structure, that's all I really need. I need a very basic outline. Okay, plan your essay. All right, what you're thinking about is the groups. All right, now they're saying this stage, all of these things, the reading the question, brainstorm, plan your essay, should not take more than 5 minutes in task 1, 10 minutes in task 2. Again, that depends on how you break down your own timing. So 5 to 10 minutes to do this. You should start writing the actual piece in 5 to 10 minutes. So you should be spending some time to plan. When it says plan your essay, what we're talking about here is very basic and something you should always use. Any writing, always use basic paragraph structure. Now, what I'm talking about, does anybody know what I'm talking about? Paragraph structure in writing.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Mahmood, what am I talking about?
A basic paragraph structure, I think it starts with a topic sentence, then you have the main idea, and usually the sentence ends with a conclusion of the main idea.
Okay. Yeah, basic. If you're writing one paragraph, all right, you're going to have a topic sentence with the overall topic and maybe what's called a controlling idea. Okay, the main topic is pollution, but I'm going to speak about pollution in Manila. There is a severe problem with pollution in Manila. Okay, topic sentence. Then I'm going to give my supporting sentences in the middle. You can think of it as a hamburger, where the top bun is your topic sentence and the bottom bun is your concluding sentence, and in the middle is all the good stuff. The meat and cheese and tomatoes. Okay, in the middle are the supporting sentences. That's basic paragraph structure. We expand this basic paragraph structure no matter what we're writing. All right? It doesn't matter what we're writing. In Ielts, if you're writing 150 or 250 words, for example, not so much letters in the GT. Letters are different. Each point, you don't really have to worry about paragraph structure so much. Each point, you can just start a new line with a space in between. That's how we write emails and so forth. With academic writing, you have to be much more concerned. Expand that one paragraph idea. So, for example, in academic writing, task 1 or task 2 makes no difference. You have your overall introductory paragraph. Then, for example, if it's task 2, opinion, you're going to give your opinion in the first paragraph, express the main idea, what is the topic, and what is your opinion. Then paragraph 2 and 3, or even 2, 3, 4 are supporting paragraphs. You're going to take each of your reasons, reason 1 in the first paragraph, and then give any examples that you can think of. And then next paragraph, reason 2, same thing. Reason 3, if you have 3 reasons. And then you're going to conclude, concluding paragraph is going to be the final summary and restating your opinion. Pretty simple. But when it comes to doing it, for example, when you're summarizing a graph, you have to figure out, you have to look at the graph, for example, in task 1, and you have to figure out, how can I break this into paragraphs? That's after a quick brainstorming vocabulary. That's the next thing you're doing in task 1. You look at the graph or chart or whatever it is, and how can I break this up? If I have to break it up into 2, 3, 4 pieces, how do I do it? Sometimes it's very apparent. It's quite obvious and pretty simple, actually. Sometimes it's much more difficult. We'll be practicing this definitely in the next few days. How to take apart information so that you know your organization. What you're doing is planning your simply. If you have done this first part, if you've done a good job at this first part, actually writing it will actually be fairly simple. Okay. You might see that you're going to write a fast piece. I would go straight from, you might see in some textbooks, I would go straight into writing the piece, actually, because they don't care. It doesn't have to look like it can look like a first draft. It doesn't really matter. So write your piece, referring back to maybe your vocabulary words that you brainstormed, keeping in mind your, again, quick, fast outline, get an idea of how many paragraphs. I mean that's basically it. Know how many paragraphs and what's going to be in each paragraph before you start writing. Start writing, and then, of course, hopefully, if everything goes right, you're gonna finish in time so that you can do a quick review. Okay. So your quick review, I already told you, when you're doing your review, you should be checking at least quickly how many words you have, because they will be checking. They will check how many words. Another quick point, never use more than 3 words in a row from the question or from the instructions. If you use more than 3 words from the question, they will subtract those words. They will not count towards your final word count, and you may actually lose points. They consider that plagiarism. So be very careful, for example, in your topic sentence or topic paragraph, if you're doing paraphrasing, if you're using that technique, rephrasing the question, be careful, study it. Make sure you don't have 3 words in a row that are directly from the question. Okay, so here are things you need to look at when you're, basically, you try to give yourself 10 minutes at the end of the test to check these things. Again, answered all the aspects of the task. Maybe read the question a 3rd time. Okay, appropriate style and tone. Okay, what we're talking about here is something I mentioned, such as in task 1, academic. Do not use any opinion like adjectives. Don't be never use phrases like I think, I believe, what this means is, and then make some kind of inference. All you're doing is relating data that's already there. Very important. Okay, and an introduction and conclusion. Obviously, I just said that. Paragraph in clear and logical. That's exactly what I was just talking about. Make sure all your supporting points are relevant. Quickly check that your points match the question. All right, like for example, check each of the supporting paragraph, check the first sentence, and look back at the question again, the original question. Again, so important to stay on task and don't go wandering off with different points. And checking spelling and grammar, sure, you can check that very quickly. And as I said, finally, count word count. Okay. All right, another note, we have 5 more minutes.
Welcome back.
Yeah, hi. That was really weird. For some reason, Google kicked me out and made me re-sign into Google. I had to re-enter my password. That was weird. I have no idea why. Just arbitrarily, I had to re-sign up, re-enter my password. Very odd. I have no idea what happened there. Very strange. Okay. The wonderful world of Google. I don't know. Okay, so okay, I'll ask a couple notes about appropriate style and tone because I know that's vague. And for example, the GT writing test, it depends. For example, if you're writing a letter to a friend, it should be written in a friendly, informal style. Obviously, if it's a letter to a company or you're complaining about something to a company, it needs to be more formal. Task 2 for either one you should just be writing it in a formal style. Actually, in the academic tests, such as you're taking, Mahmood, it's all basically formal. And what do I mean by formal? Let's actually look at that real quick. I had mentioned a couple of these. Okay, Mahmood, very important. You're doing academics, so everything you write should be this. All verb forms must be written in full, no contractions. Do not use abbreviations such as info for information, ads for advertisements. Use the full forms is the rule. Avoid using active voice and first person singular, in other words, I. Well, okay, this is more in a business letter for GT. Although this is more for task 1. You can say I if you're giving an opinion. Never say I in task 1. Okay, and you need to use passive when you're describing graphs and charts. You need to use passive tense. The yield of crops in Indonesia had risen by 40% in the last has risen by 40% in the last 5 years. You have to be very adept at using passive. Okay? Not so much for task 2, but for task 1. Here's another good point. Avoid using informal intensifiers or modifiers like really, so, very. In other words, really, so, very. Try to avoid those. You should be using more things like extremely, highly. Use full word adverbs. In other words, not simple adverbs like really, very. You should be using much more complex adverbs. Okay, well, anyway, we'll be covering all this later in the week. Today was just simply an introduction. Hopefully, Mahmoud, I'll see you later in the week. I've already gone overtime, so adios. I gotta go.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. All right. Bye-bye.